In this video we are going to take another look at Deathwatch list building post Space Marine Codex release, this time focusing on the sneaky Vanguard Spearhead Detachment. In the first part, we will go through some main considerations when picking that particular detachment, overplaying the Deathwatch exclusive Black Spear Taskforce. In the second part, we will then go through my current list iteration for the Vanguard detachment, which will hopefully provide some inspiration for you guys when doing your own lists. Lastly, there will be a quick wrap up of what has been covered.
Welcome to SwissHammer, your channel for modeling in Warhammer 40k. My name is Tammer and I will be guiding you through this video.
As a quick reminder, in a previous episode I went through all the detachments available to the Deathwatch through the Space Marine Codex, including what changes rule-wise when compared to picking our own unique detachment. The link is in the description. While there are several good detachment options to pick from, I personally think that the Vanguard detachment done in the style of the Raven Guard has a lot to offer for us Deathwatch players, while still keeping us somewhat in line with the Spec Ops theme of our faction. Looking at the detachment rule, this is a defensive bonus called Shadow Masters that allows Adeptus Astartes units to subtract 1 from the hit roll and receive the benefit of cover when targeted by ranged attacks from outside of 12 inches. This is interesting for two main reasons, one of which are our kill teams, which tend to be big 10-man blobs. For the Indomitor kill team in particular, this one will lean towards shooting and does not come with access to invul saves. With Shadow Masters, the 5 mandatory heavy intercessors acting as ablative wounds for the other datasheets will be even more annoying to chew through. Then secondly, I think Shadow Masters also allows us to more easily field utility and vehicle picks, let's say the mandatory Infiltrator squad or 5 Deathwatch veterans, or on the vehicle side our Corvus Blackstar or some anti-tank platform that we don't want to run with additional support. Looking at the enhancements, what stands out here in particular is the Blade Driven Deep, which unlocks the Infiltrator ability for the bearer and its unit. This is simply too hilarious to not take on something like a Watchmaster leading a Proteus kill team. As far as the rest is concerned, Ghostweave Cloak would unlock Stealth and Lone Operative, but I think as far as the Deathwatch is concerned, we want our Watchmaster attached, and we would rather just run a Lieutenant with Combi Weapon or the Calidus Assassin. We then have 2 more Phobos exclusive enhancements. One is Execute and Redeploy, which I would totally see the day a 10-man Spectre's kill team becomes competitive, or if you are bringing one along anyway. We then also have Shadow War Veteran, which is basically a Vect ability, which we could bring when running a Lieutenant with Combi Weapon, bringing him up to 100 points in total, but my personal choice here would still be the Calidus Assassin at 90 points, as we will see once we get to the list building. For stratagems, all of these are viable, and I think what stands out here for list building is that Strike from the Shadows increases the ballistic skill and AP by 1 for ranged attacks of infantry when shooting from more than 12 inches away, and that we have Surgical Strikes for 2 CP, which adds precision to melee weapons, and this is a battle tactic that can potentially be played for free with a captain. Either of these would go very well with a huge variety of our unique datasheets, be it the competitive kill teams like Indomitor or Proteus, or just our regular Deathwatch veterans or Terminators depending on loadouts. On a last note, the Guerrilla Tactics stratagem allows up to 2 Phobos and or Scouts units to go into strategic reserves, so in case we are running at least 2 of those, we can play a single strat on 2 units, similar to what we already know well from our Black Spear Taskforce. Just something to keep in mind. Having said all that, how did I go about building my Vanguard Spearhead list? So first of all, I absolutely wanted to pull that Proteus Kill Team plus Watchmaster infiltrating combo, and while it's horribly expensive at exactly 1/4 of our 2k list, its threat range becomes huge, and this is something that your opponent will be discouraged to deal with, or at the very least will have to make a similar kind of commitment. With that out of the way, another advantage we have when playing a regular Space Marine Codex detachment are our Deathwatch veterans and Terminators outside of kill teams. As such, I picked 5 Deathwatch Terminators led by a captain in Terminator armor, which will either fit neatly into a Land Raider I also added, or they can also deep strike if need be. The captain will allow us to play surgical strikes, aka precision in melee for free, or we could also use Armor of Contempt as a defensive bonus for free. As we are talking vehicles, I also added the double Vindicators I had experimented with in my previous Black Spear Taskforce lists, which have been giving me amazing results into a variety of targets. Full credit here once again to Lou Rollins who pointed me in that direction. As originally mentioned, we are indeed running 3 vehicles, and I think Shadow Masters goes quite well with this, allowing them to get more easily where they need to be. With quite a bit of points tied into a big kill team and the vehicles, it was then time to add the utility picks for screening and playing the mission, which are the to me mandatory squad of 5 infiltrators, a squad of 5 Deathwatch veterans, just a very good all-rounder unit to have, and the mentioned Kalidas assassin. Furthermore, I think one of the best units to have in most Space Marine lists at this point are Inceptors, and we have several options here. We could either run a full squad of 6, mainly if we want to boost them with stratagems such as Strike from the Shadows, or we could split them into units of 3 for more flexibility. Well, I think either Bolter or Plasma loadout is viable. I went for Plasma for this particular list, but my advice here would be to adjust both squad size as well as loadout depending on what you are most likely going to face or lists you generally struggle against. All in all, this puts us at exactly 1945 points, 55 to spare, which means the perfect moment to add a unit of scouts.
By order of the Inquisition, stop immediately or face summary execution.
Wait, Greyfax, this is not how you think it is, no! Alright, scouts in the Deathwatch? Yeah, it's dumb and feels really dirty, but the detachments outside of the Black Spear Taskforce do allow it. The point here is that their rules are just very strong, kind of like a Spectre's kill team that's actually affordable, and it puts us at 2 units of Phobos scouts, which means we could play the guerrilla tactic stratagem on both. The difference between the stratagem and the scout's default ability is that the latter needs 6 inches distance to collect them, while the stratagem has 3. It might be a bit niche, but we never know. Anyway, for anyone who wants to keep their dignity, just use Inquisitorial Henchmen instead. They are perfectly fine and most likely more future-proof pick. Overall, in my test games so far, I had good success infiltrating the Proteus kill team to hold an objective. Oftentimes they would not even get contested much, while the Land Raider and its Terminator cargo aim for the middle. The Vindicators do amazing work into a large variety of targets, so these are very flexible, and the same goes for the Plasma Inceptors, which I deep strike. Depending on the opponent's list, the infiltrators are just screening the backfield, in which case I found that between the scouts, Kalidas and Deathwatch veterans, I had just about enough for mission play. In some instances, I think 2 squads of 3 Inceptors would have helped with that, but this is something to fine-tune based on overall playstyle. Another thing that could be changed is the expensive Proteus kill team and Watchmaster combo. Here I think a cheaper variant with Deathwatch veterans could be something worth considering. All in all, while it might not be the Black Spear Taskforce, this has certainly been the most fun in 10th edition so far past the balanced status late nerfs. To wrap things up, Over the course of the video, we have looked at building a Deathwatch list using the Vanguard Spearhead Detachment, available to us through the Space Marine Codex. What stands out here is the detachment rule Shadow Masters, offering an army-wide defensive bonus, which goes really well with both our kill teams, as well as some regular utility units and vehicles. Furthermore, for enhancements, the Blade-driven Deep allows us to do something hilarious like infiltrating a Proteus kill team, and I think that all of the 6 stratagems have some potential play. As far as my personal list is concerned, I wanted to keep it somewhat Deathwatch by infiltrating a Proteus kill team with a Watchmaster, and I think both Deathwatch Terminators and Deathwatch Veterans are good to bring on their own. For the Terminators, the Land Raider is my transport of choice, and another leftover from my previous Deathwatch lists are the 2 Vindicators, which have grown a lot on me over the course of 10th edition. The rest are what I consider utility picks in one way or another, with the Inceptors being the one element where I am not quite sure yet how to best use them. Having a total of 6, these could be played as a single unit, good for supporting them with stratagems, or a more flexible choice of 2 times 3. As it currently stands, having Inceptors in any kind of list is very likely not a bad idea. Overall, this list has been quite refreshing to play when compared to our unique Black Spear Taskforce, which unfortunately underwent a series of nerfs. So that's it for switching my Deathwatch list to the Vanguard Spearhead Detachment for the time being. With what kind of lists have you guys come up after the release of the Space Marine Codex? And how have they worked out for you on the table? Any good combos I overlooked or units that I did some injustice to? And then of course most importantly, what do you guys think about running scouts in the Deathwatch? Let me know in the comments. Then finally, if you made it this far and I still have your attention, if you like my content, any additional support is greatly appreciated as it helps me invest into future videos. For that, I have both a Ko-fi as well as a Patreon page, links are in the description. Furthermore, I would also like to mention that there is a SwissHammer Facebook page where I will be posting links to my videos as well as articles I find of interest. I do read a lot about the hobby, but not all of it will always end up as its own video. I look forward to seeing you there as well. As always, thank you very much for watching guys, your continued support is greatly appreciated. I hope you have been enjoying this video, give me a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks again and see you next time.